In the next demo, let me show you the steps to ensure that your development environment is all set up before continuing. So, what do you need to have installed on your machine to get started working on your first ASP.NET Zero application? Well, I recommend that you use Visual Studio. At the time of the recording of this course, Visual Studio 2017 is the latest edition. So you can go to visualstudio.microsoft.com. Actually, you can also go to visualstudio.com and it will redirect you here. Over here, you can actually download a version for Windows. If you don't have a license, you'll be able to use the Community Edition, which is the free edition. Do note that some license restrictions apply here. If you have another edition, the Professional and the Enterprise editions, they will of course also work fine. If you want to work with the Mac, well, that's also perfectly fine. You can also use Visual Studio for Mac to build ASP.NET Zero applications. I do recommend for the client-side code, so the Angular code that we will be writing, to use Visual Studio Code. You could also use the plain version of Visual Studio, but I find code a little bit more flexible for the Angular code. So if you want to install it, go to code.visualstudio.com and there you can download a version for Windows. Again, there is also a version for Mac, even for Linux, if you're not running on Windows. Next, you will also need to have Node installed. Go to nodejs.org and there you will be able to download a version for your operating system. We will need this because we are going to use npm, which is the Node package manager, which comes as part of the Node installation. I have this LTS version that you see highlighted here on the screen installed on my machine. You could also use the current version, but it's not really necessary to use a newer version. This LTS, this long-term support version that is, will do fine. Now, once you have Node installed, you can actually install Typescript. Now, you don't need to download Typescript yourself. npm will install it for you. What you can do is, once you have Node installed, go to a command prompt and in there type npm install -g, that is global, and then Typescript. This will install the latest version of Typescript on your machine. On my machine, it was already installed. Note that I could do this wherever I want it. I'm doing it here in my users folder. That is because npm typically gets added to the pod upon installation. If you want to test that Typescript has also been installed globally, type tsc, that is the Typescript compiler, and if you see some output, that actually means that that command has been recognized and you're good to go. Finally, we'll also be using Yarn, the Yarn package manager. Go to yarnpkg.com and download the latest version via this button over here. With these tools installed, you're ready to get started building your first application with ASP.NET Zero. For the sake of completeness, here's the list of tools that we are using together with a link where to get them from.